Hey guys, so today we're checking out the Flowmaster FX dual exit exhaust system with black tips, fitting all 2016 and newer 3.5 liter Toyota Tacomas. So if you're looking for an affordable choice for an exhaust system that's going to liven up the look as well as the sound of that 3.5 liter and your Tacoma, this option by Flowmaster is going to be a great choice to take a look into. So as you guys just heard from the sound clip, this is going to do a really good job at opening up a lot of that airflow, freeing up a lot of that restriction, and giving this exhaust a very aggressive tone and increasing some volume for your 3.5 liter. Now as far as the loudness meter goes, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being completely stock and 5 being incredibly loud. Now this exhaust system, even though it is on the louder side of the loudness meter, it's not going to be overbearing, perfect for somebody who's looking for a louder system but doesn't want to be bothered all the time by a lot of drone or a raspy system. This exhaust system really has an aggressive and throaty tone to it in comparison to some other options that are really up there on the loudness meter. Now as far as interior cab noise is concerned, again, because it is a louder exhaust, you will hear it when you do get on the pedal. Perfect for you guys out there that do want to hear your exhaust while you're driving around, but when you're cruising, you're not going to have any drone and it is going to be pretty quiet, which I do personally like out of an exhaust system. Now not only are you getting the sound out of this exhaust system, but you are going to see a little bit of a performance gain in those higher RPMs just because you are freeing up a lot of restriction from the factory exhaust. So I wouldn't expect too much out of this exhaust system, but you are going to get a little bit of a boost in power. Now, as far as the styling is concerned, this is going to be great for somebody who's really a fan of that dual outlet as well as a black tip. I think Flowmaster did a really good job at creating a sleek and stealthy exhaust system with this, and it's, again, not over the top. So if you are a fan of that dual tip or that blacked out look, then this is going to be a perfect choice for you. And again, this is going to be completely affordable for a dual exit exhaust system, coming in at around $500. Now, in my personal opinion, I think that that's definitely money well spent with this exhaust system. You're getting quality materials and a quality build, and it is going to fit very well while also being pretty easy to install for a dual outlet exhaust system. This is going to be a step up in materials and build with a 409 stainless steel material in comparison to some other choices that are a little bit less expensive or on the cost-effective side that are made of an aluminized steel material. So this is going to hold up a little bit longer than those options, but it's going to remain affordable in comparison to some high-quality 304 stainless steel options. Now, what I do really like about this is the fact that this is going to have a dual rear exit in comparison to some other options that aren't really going to give it as much style, like a turn down exhaust system. So overall, if you're looking for a lot of style, you're looking for an aggressive sound at an affordable price, then this option by Flowmaster is a great choice to take a look at. As far as install goes, I'm going to give this a lighter 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. You're going to need some very basic hand tools in order to get the job done, and probably 2 hours worth of your time. So speaking of that install, let's jump into that now. The tools that I used for my install were an impact wrench, an exhaust hanger removal tool, a 15 and 14 millimeter wrench, a 10-inch extension, a 3/8 inch drive ratchet, a 15 millimeter deep socket, a 14 millimeter swivel socket, a 14 millimeter shallow socket, and a can of PB Blaster. So our first step is to start up at our catback flange here. There's going to be 2 bolts holding our catback piping together. What I'm going to do is remove those with a 14 millimeter swivel socket. I've also put a little bit of PB Blaster on there just to help them because the bolts heat up and cool down and they may be a little bit rusty. Now make sure to save these and put these aside. We will be using them later. So what we can do next is start disconnecting our exhaust from our hangers. I'm going to start in the back, and I also have a pole jack sitting underneath our muffler just to give us a little bit of support. But I'm going to take our exhaust hanger removal tool and remove that hanger. We'll also put a little bit of PB Blaster on there just to help it. So this is going to be the last hanger, so make sure that you have a hand on your exhaust because it will be fully disconnected at this point. So we can move up to the muffler, support our exhaust, and we can actually lower it down on that pull jack. So we can wiggle this out of the way and wiggle our exhaust out. Before we hop into the rest of the install, I did want to stop down and tell you guys a little bit more about this new Flowmaster system in comparison to our factory system and what benefits and details that you're going to see out of this new option. Now, starting off, this is going to be a completely different setup than the factory exhaust. As you can tell in our factory exhaust, we have this large muffler in the middle, and then it goes down to a single side exit with a small chrome tip. Now with this new Flowmaster system, this is going to be an upgrade to a dual side exit, and you're getting a large 4.5-inch black chrome tip. Now it's going to be great if you're looking to change up the aesthetic, if you want something that's a little bit more sleek and stealthy with that black look on the back, especially great for you guys out there that are looking for a more blacked out look to your truck. Now moving up the exhaust system, this is going to have 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing. That's going to help out with a smooth exhaust flow, and not only is it going to be a step up in styling, but it's also going to be a step up in performance and materials. Now this is going to be made of a 409 stainless steel material, which is going to be a big upgrade from the factory steel. Now as you can tell on our factory exhaust system, it does have a little bit of rusting and weathering up at the front, but this exhaust system by Flowmaster is going to be a lot more resistant to that, considering the quality materials in the build. Now, not only are you getting that, but again, you're getting that performance too. This is going to come with the Flowmaster FX muffler. This is going to be a straight through style muffler, so you're getting rid of that restriction, a lot of that restriction, and it's going to not only help out the performance, but help out the sound, and that's one of the main reasons why you would want to get an exhaust system like this. So that's really going to deepen the tone and free up a lot of that restriction and create a better flow in comparison to the large muffler that you see here that is big and baffled and obviously restricted and will tone down that sound when you do have the factory system installed on your Tacoma. Not to mention, it comes with everything that you need to install. Obviously, we are adding a lot of piping here, so you will get all of the hangers and hardware that are necessary in order to get that dual outlet on your truck. So what do you say we go ahead and install our new Flowmaster system? So our first step is going to consist of starting up at the flange here. We're going to take our connecting pipe and lay that over the flange. I am going to take our factory exhaust bolts and bolt this in. However, I'm not going to completely tighten it down. I just want to make sure that we have enough wiggle room for adjustability when we get the rest of the piping on. So I'm just going to snug these up by hand, and then we'll tighten them down at the end. You also want to make sure that the bend of the pipe is facing up. How you can tell is just if you lay this flange piece next to the factory piece, you can see how it's oriented. All right. So that's in place. Now we can move on to our muffler. What we're going to do next is take our muffler with the single inlet up at the front and our hanger clamp. And I have a pull jack here to support our muffler while we wiggle this in place. But that clamp is going to be facing the front of our Tacoma. So I just have that hanger in place right now. And I'm actually going to put our pipe or our clamp around our front piping so we can raise up our muffler and get it into place. I like something supporting the muffler just because we have to do a couple things on the back there, and we want to make sure that everything is supported while we're doing this. You can slide that muffler onto that piping. Right, so once you have that clamp and the hanger around both of the piping there, We can go ahead and snug that up. We don't want to completely tighten it down just yet. Again, we still need some wiggle room, but we want to make sure that the muffler is not going anywhere while it's connected to the pipe. I'm going to use a 15mm deep socket. I'm just going to snug it up. So we still have some wiggle room there, but the clamp is seated where it needs to be. So what we can do first is attach our clamp to our muffler on the driver's side, because we're going to start with that driver's side over axle pipe, just so we have our muffler supported for when we put on the larger tailpipe for the passenger side. All right, so now that that clamp is on the driver's side outlet, what we can do is take our over axle pipe for the driver's side and slip the hanger through the isolator and slide it onto our muffler here. Now that pipe and our muffler will be semi-supported now. We're gonna slide that all the way in as far as we can, right? We're not gonna tighten that up just yet. Again, we want some wiggle room and be able to manipulate our muffler. Now we can work on the passenger side tailpipe. So we wanna make sure that that clamp is on our muffler first. Then we can grab the tailpipe, and there's gonna be 2 hangers on this one. So there's one in the back next to the spare tire. That's the factory one. And then we have the one up here at the muffler. So we're gonna slip the back one into place. It should be fairly easy, especially if you already have some PB Blaster in there from when we took the factory exhaust off. We're just gonna give it a good push back and slip it into the front one. And it should line up pretty well. And we can kind of push our exhaust piping or our tail piping into place. Make sure it's coming all the way up into the muffler there. We can slip our clamp over. What we can do now is attach our new hanger and isolator that's provided by Flowmaster. You're also going to get a bolt, a lock washer, and a nut. We're just going to install this right above the leaf spring over by the frame. So now we can tighten this down with a 15mm wrench and socket. And now we can install our driver's side tailpipe. What we can do now is take our clamp, making sure that it's accessible to tighten down, slide it over the muffler piping. It should stay in place. Then we can take our tailpipe and we can slide that into the bottom there. And then this is why we left everything loose. We want to make sure that we can slip this into the isolator. It may hit the leaf spring at first, but we can go back and adjust everything. We want to be able to slip this into the isolator. So just because the leaf spring's here, this seems like it's going to be a little bit difficult to get this in when the bracket or the hanger is completely tightened down. So I'm just going to loosen it up a little bit. And then we should be able to turn it and then tighten it down in a minute. So again, I'm just going to use that 15mm socket and wrench. All right, so that worked out a little bit better. Now it's seated in there. We can sneak our 15mm socket in there, tighten that up. So now working from the rear up to the front, what we can do is start to tighten down our clamps. With this back clamp, you just want to make sure that this pipe is sitting all the way into the over axle pipe. Then we can take a 15mm deep socket and tighten that up. Then we can head up to our muffler clamps. Same 15mm deep socket for both of these back muffler clamps. we can take our 14mm swivel socket and tighten down the 2 bolts at the flange. And last but not least, we can go attach our tips. What we can do now is install our tips. So all we have to do is just slide this over the tailpipe. We have to give it a little press. And you can adjust this really however you want, if you want it all the way back or farther forward a little bit. Just gonna put it at about there, kind of line up with our bumper here. Make sure that it's straight. So once you have the tip adjusted where you want it, we can take a 14mm socket and wrench and tighten this up on the back. All right, we can repeat that same process on the other side. So that's going to wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe, and for more videos and products like this, always keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.